let's try this again. Hey guys, we're going to be doing a tutorial today on how to do a scrying mirror, and I've never done a tutorial before, so we will see how this turns out. My friend Kim, you will probably occasionally hear her mumbling over next to me, is not going to be in my video, she says, but I might force her into being in my video anyway. You might see her head pop up over here every once in a while. Told you I'd be able to get it. So, a scrying mirror is a divination tool that people use to divine the future, or etc, etc, etc. Girls, please stop yelling. So, literally, the ingredients that you need, and what I'll do is I will make a list down below of things that you need for this activity. Makes a great craft, especially if you have witchy children, as I like to call them, or if you have any child with a gift, really. We basically, all you need is a cheap dollar store frame. Any size will do. This is a 3x5. This is a 4x6, and Kim has a frame she picked up at Walmart. How much was that? Couple bucks?
$5.
Like $5. I actually just picked up this great find at, this is a frame that I picked up just today. It's all solid. I think it's gold-plated brass, but it's really pretty, and this is going to be the one I'm going to do today. This is the first one that I made, and as you can see, literally all a scrying mirror is a black glass, and then I took a Sharpie marker and drew on the outside. So a black frame, especially if you're just beginning, a basic black frame, you can get them at the Dollar Tree for $1, any size. They're kind of a little on the flimsy side, but it's nice because you can take this and just sit it on your table or on your altar. Or if it has the little hangy things, you can even hang it on your wall. I think that's why Kim has the bigger one, so she can hang it on her wall. We tend to run out of altar space very, very easily and very, very quickly. So that's the first thing you need, is a frame. The next thing you're going to need is some alcohol swabs, which she laughed at me and said, "What do you need that for?" What you need to do is take it, and you're going to take the alcohol swab, and you're going to wipe your glass with it, and probably your frame a little bit too, just to make sure that there's no gooky stuff. And you're going to actually take the glass out too, so we'll get to that. Next thing you're going to need is either spray paint. If you're doing it with kids, you can use tempera paint, and actually that's what this one's made out of. That's what I used for this one, was I used tempera paint. Unfortunately, I couldn't find my tempera paint, and then I could not find tempera paint period at Walmart, so I was kind of excited, or kind of upset about that. I was excited that I could get a 96-cent can of freaking spray paint, though. But you're going to want black. You're going to want something that's a flat black, because it's going to be behind glass anyway. It isn't going to matter. And honestly, I'm all about saving some money. Normally, I would not be using spray paint because of the impact of the environment, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of have no choice for this. So we're going to use that, and then the rest you need is paper plate, paintbrush, gloves if you're going to be touching the frame. If you're using tempera paint, you don't really need gloves. We're going to use gloves because we're using spray paint. And some paper towels, napkins, whatever you have to kind of mop up any mess. And also newspaper if you are using a table that you, like if you're doing it on your dining room table, you don't want to get paint all over your dining room table. So regular gloves. We're just using my kind of, I'm sure you can see, my messed up wonderful table that I use for everything. Anytime I'm painting or drawing stuff, I always put it on this table. So it's already messed up anyway. I do tend to suggest to people that if you're going to be doing a lot of crafts, designate a craft table, especially if you're going to have a big group of people coming over. Although it's just me and Kim today, so we're going to have fun though, because we're awesome. So, what you're going to do, step one, before you just start the spray paint. Come on, Melissa, get your step one. I had one open. There it is. What you're going to do is you're going to take your glass, or in my case, I have this one's made out of plastic, which is kind of cool. And you're going to take your swab and just wipe it and hold the edges. Now this is something that you're going to want to pre-prep if you're doing this with a child, because you don't want them to cut themselves. Disclaimer. Just do both sides kind of nice, and then let it dry. You may have to wipe it with a paper towel. Now I do recommend, I'm not using Viva paper towels, but if you're gonna want to make sure it's lint free, use a Viva paper towel, because they keep the lint from getting all over the place. So you already got to that step. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your spray paint and spray just a little bit into your paper plate. As you can see, I just sprayed a little bit. Then you're going to take your brush, and you're going to dip your brush, kind of get a good little bit of that paint on your brush, and you're going to, oop, my brush broke. These are old brushes. And you're going to want to paint. You might need to put more paint on the actual thing. We didn't use any primer. You might want to spray it with primer if you're using glass. Thank God I have my door open. Oh!
I love the spray paint.
I do too, but I kind of like overdid it with some other spraying chemicals that when I was doing those eggs. So what you're going to want to do is it'll take a couple layers usually, at least with the tempera paint. We don't know. We might actually just be taking these outside and spray painting them outside, it looks like. But you're going to want to do a couple of coats. You're going to want to let it dry between coats.
Make a mess all over Melissa's table.
Make a mess all over Melissa's table, it's okay. And you're going to want to make sure that you're only painting the one side. I already got paint all over my hands. Lovely. Daisy's over here getting high on paint fumes. My neighbors are probably like, what the hell is this girl doing? I have my sliding glass door open. So you're going to take all that and and see how it started as I'm brushing. It's kind of coming off. That's when you know you got to stop and let it dry. You can put more on. Just spray your shit, dude. Because you're special. And then, oh yeah, you might want a cup of warm water. Just left my paintbrush again. A cup of warm water to get the paint off your brushes. Like these are literally my throwaway brushes. I've had these for years and years. They've been through hell and back. So I don't care if they get ruined. Yeah, see how that's just destroyed. And it's destroyed anyway, so. I have an entire box of brushes. One of the good parts about painting for so many years is you tend to accrue a numerous amount of brushes. This one's actually pretty nice. It doesn't come off. So you're going to let that kind of dry. With the tempera paint, it takes per layer anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour per layer to dry. So this is an activity that you want to do over the day. So like if you're gonna have a whole bunch of kids over at your house, like if you're a babysitter, or if you've got like all your nieces and nephews coming over, oh, let's do this. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's something that they'll enjoy. Some people tend to, I've heard people call them ancestor mirrors. Depends on the person, and I think, and the tradition and the path that they're on. But one thing I have heard a couple people say is they put either photographs behind the glass, because here, I'll show you this. When you open your mirror, and like I said, it's just a frame. And these things are a pain in the butt to open all the time. I hate these little sticky things. When you take this out, literally, there's your paint. And then this comes out. This one doesn't come out because it has the little styrofoam things in it. So it was done with the glass in there. And this was a couple of layers. Like you can't see through it. And that's what you want to get. You want to get a nice matte, not able to see through it type of deal going there. And then when you go to decorate the outside, well, what you want to do with the outside, like with mine, all this is a Sharpie, and I took the Sharpie and I drew runes. I drew my pagan name initials, and I did what I think of as a symbol for earth, a symbol for water, a symbol for fire. I drew little candles, and a symbol for air. And that's all I did for that. Which actually I realized afterwards, I actually did it so earth and water are opposite. They're in the wrong spot. So, yeah. Because air should be this way, water should be this way. It's air and water, earth and fire. Yeah, so, but apparently it was supposed to be like that. So, and these are just, like I said, different runes. And this just sits on my earth altar and looks pretty for the most part. I don't really use it that often. So are we dry? And you just got to keep checking, and like you can see, you can see through this right now. I mean, it's fairly dry. It's a little tacky. With the spray paint, it says wait 4 hours no more than 4 hours or over a week between your layers. So you just have to make sure that it's dry. And I love editing videos. Probably take it outside to do that. Grab some paper towel and put that shit down. But it wouldn't give you a full layer anyway. It takes a little bit to do it. Another thing that people do, instead of putting a photograph of an ancestor or somebody who's passed on, people will take and write a letter or some kind of intention. That's what Kim's got. Kim's got an intention. She's just wrote it on here, and all you do is just fold it up. You can do it on loose leaf paper. You can do it on parchment paper. You can write it on a piece of scrap canvas, whatever you feel artistically fits you. I'm surprised she didn't write it on sheet music personally for her.
Oh, I don't have any.
I have all kinds of sheet music. Well, you can always redo it.
Yeah, I could.
You just copy that onto, like, photocopy it onto sheet music. I have a bunch of sheet music.
Oh, that's
I have blank sheet music out the wazoo. I printed like 6,000 pages of sheet music that I never used. I used one piece. Why did I print? Like, we were cleaning the house. I'm like, why did I print so much damn sheet music? Why? Why? I don't know either.
Because you're Melissa, you can.
Exactly. Because try it. And that's the thing that sucks about spray paint. I should probably do this away from my laptop. It makes a big, huge mess. So then you do your second layer. Yeah, it looks like we might actually be taking this outside. This stuff is fast drying. Oh. It's making a nice layer. Or is yours not making a layer?
Not really.
I had to, when I did my first one, I had to stipple it. Kind of go like that. I call it stippling, I don't know. All you artsy people, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You just take it and go like this and just kind of tap it on there to give it a nice layer. But thin layers dry faster, so always keep that in mind when you're doing any kind of a paint project. Thin layers dry way, way faster. Because obviously there's less paint. Yeah, make sure if you're doing this with spray paint, make sure you have like
a window open.
Or you're outside doing it. Honestly, this would be a great project like in the spring when the weather starts to warm up. Like, it's spring now, but just because it's technically the real first full day of spring. But
you ever think of this whole stippling thing?
It works, doesn't it?
It's just time consuming.
It is time consuming, but it works. Look. All I'm gonna need is like one layer ish. One more layer.
I'm gonna want like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and then you just, literally, all I did for my first one that I made was, I take it and I hold it up to a source of bright light. Because it being on my napkin here, it looks as though it's solid. But when I hold it up to the light and let the light shine through, let the sun shine, sorry. You can see it's got kind of like, you can see the little spots that it's missing. So all you have to do to make sure that it's good is hold it up to a bright light. And I actually, with my other one, I kept having the same one little spot that would not take the paint, and I was getting really upset. And I finally got it. I wound up having to like dab the paint, like pour the paint right on that spot and sit there and work the paint into that hole, because it had caused an air bubble essentially in the paint as I was painting, because I was doing it, so I was brushing, my brush strokes are fairly fast. So I had paint like everywhere, and which I have paint everywhere now. But it just depends. You're fine. I don't care if you make a mess on my table. That's why I use this table. Violet. Violet. Violet, come here. Come. You want to say hi? Your life is so hard, I know. Say hi. Say hi to the computer. She's like, it smells like spray paint in this. She's getting a little tubby. Tubby. Daisy, come here. Come over here. Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Oh. Thank you. Do you want to just take yours outside and spray paint it?
It's just mine's a lot bigger than yours, that's all.
Yeah. And mine's plastic.
And the more paint you get on there, the easier the next coats will adhere to it, because you're getting away from the shiny. So.
Alright, so back to my technical difficulties. My computer decided that it was going to have a seizure, so I had to like turn my laptop off and like do the whole thing. And it sucks because this is the only camera that works with my editing program. And I learned very early on, right after I got the new computer, the new desktop, that it doesn't work with, the microphone doesn't work. I don't think it even has a microphone. It says it has a microphone, but it doesn't, I don't think. But it was very, very quiet. You could barely hear me, which I'm a very loud person, so I don't know how the hell that happened. So back to what we were doing. While we were waiting, we went ahead and we did some more layers. You can still see through it a little bit. And how well you can see. Where's my... Oh, I hate that it's backwards. You can see this little spot right here. I still have to kind of... I screwed it up a little bit. And I also re-wiped the front of my glass, this part, the non-painted side, because I had paint little smudges along the edges. Because I have it sitting on a paper towel that I keep wiping my brush on. So while we were waiting, we went through and we did some work. Kim was doing some Theban Script, which this is, for those of you who haven't seen Theban Script, this is what Theban Script is. This is, I hand wrote this more than a decade ago, a very long time ago. This is what they commonly refer to as witch's script. This might be backwards on your screen because I have it flipped, which is why I'm kind of cockeyed and retarded right now. I'm a potato. Sorry, not retarded, but a potato. That's the back half of the thing. You can Google. I'll probably provide a link in there for the Theban Script link. You can Google it, and it'll show you. You can go to Google Images to find the images of what it is. And I printed it. I sat there and painstakingly wrote them all out. Then my husband purchased this for me through, I think, Amazon. It's a thing of the runes and what they mean. Each rune, what they're, it provides you with the letter that it stands for, the meaning, like Fahu, which is, that's a funny word, Fahu, which is this one right here. It's the letter F. Its meaning is cattle. The tree that's designated to it is the elder tree. And then it has a summary. And it says wealth, possessions, nourishment, abundance, divination, and prophecy. So I went through all was it 8 times 3 is what, 32?
8.
24.
There's 24.
There's 4. I was doing 10. And I grabbed 10 of them. And these are all, like I said, this is probably backwards for you. I'm not sure. Unless, you know what? It's flipped this way. Okay. It should be fine, right? I can read the screen.
Okay, then it's probably
okay, so that should be fine. This is all the ones that I found out of the 24. I found 10 of them that could be used for divination. The first one is Fahu, which wealth, possessions, nourishment, abundance, divination, and prophecy. Which divination and prophecy would be what our goal is. Then there's I'm gonna screw this one up. Ansoons. Yeah, don't mind my crappy chicken scratch handwriting. Ansoons is signals, inspiration, speech, voice of the goddess, true vision, and synthesis. Which the true vision would be what you were going for. Then I have Gabo, which is gift. I know that one because I use that with my hand fastings. Partnership, gifts of the goddess, blessings, magical exchange, power to create from within yourself. Because when you're scrying, you're creating from within yourself. You're asking for a vision. So that's why I picked that one. Then there is Awaz, which is that one. It looks kind of like a funky looking Z. And it's defense, release, letting go, enlightenment, endurance, initiation, and protection. Then there's Perth, which is this one right here. It looks like a, this way. Looks like a funky looking C. That is for initiation, determining your path, knowledge of future patterns, which would make sense for this. And evolutionary change. Then the next one that I picked out looks like a backwards funky N. It's right there by my finger there with my broken nail. It's wholeness, self-knowledge, guidance, hope, goals achieved, power of self-renewal. I picked that one for guidance. Then you've got this one here, which a lot of people know as being symbolic for male fertility as well, which isn't even on my list, but that's what a lot of people use it for. So if you're a guy, this is a good one for you to pick. But it's Tawaz maybe? Two dots above the A. What does that mean? Is that A? I'm Canadian today, don't mind me. No offense, Canadians, we love you. I'm not going to go there. I was very drunk St. Patty's Day. There was all kinds of things said. Warrior, divine spinner, justice, self-sacrifice, analysis, and rationality. So if you are looking to draw rationality and proper analysis into your divination, this would be a good one to pick. And then Manaz, is that how you say it? Yeah, oh, I got one right. I knew this one. Manaz, which is the self, female wisdom, knowledge, awareness, intelligence, and memory. So that would help you remember what you scry. Then on this bottom one is, which ironically it says Dagaz, which is how I've always pronounced it, which is why I have this little runes sheet. It's Thagaz. Did not know that. And it's the letter D, means day. Its tree is spruce, but it also stands for awakening, breakthrough, prosperity and fulfillment, hope, and power of self-change. So it's a good one. Then the last one here is Othello, which reminds me of Othello. I don't know. Aid in spiritual and physical journeys, womb of the goddess, and increase and abundance. I have this one, this one, this one, and this one on my all the way around my frame. So I only picked 4. I picked one for each element basically. You can also, if you're on my I got paint all over that. If you're on my Facebook page does have I did Rune of the Day. I have to finish it. That's going to be this weekend. I'm probably going to finish up the last. I think I have like 4 more to do. I was doing it per day, and then I realized there's only so many runes. So I figured I'll finish it by the end of the month, and then I'll just recycle them and let them float around. But you can take a look at those. I used my photo grid on my phone, and I love photo grid. It's amazing. I use a rune app for, I have runes, but sometimes, I mean, it's just not like you carry that shit around with you. So I have this awesome on my phone. This is my Wiccan app, my Wiccan folder, I should say. But right, where are you at? There, you see the galaxy runes is what I use. So you go into there and it brings up your little screen, and then you've got, you know, all this different stuff. So like I go into Encyclopedia and it brings up all the runes. You can get it from Google Play. It's a free app. But you can click on any one of them and it'll show you the rune. Click it again. It'll tell you what, like, its meaning, and then it goes into an in-depth thing. Some of them are long, some of them are short. Then you can go to the next thing and it'll show you rune poetry. And it usually, this one only has, for that one it only has the Anglo-Saxon, but it has Old Norwegian and Old something else, I don't remember what. And then you can go in and look and see what their meanings are. Like this one's fire, water, air, and earth, and it's masculine, and its plant is the lilac. So it tells you a little bit about each rune. But what I do is I go into, I screenshot everything, and I go into photo grid, and then I create, let me pull up my photo grid folder. I create these nifty things that I post on my page. That isn't going. There's going. No, not really. There we go. They kind of look like that, and it has my website, facebook.com/Kaylin Cerulean. It has my like and Twitter, Facebook, the symbol, etc., etc. And I think I even started putting the photo grid symbol on there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it shows what it means and what the app tells me. So if you want to check it out, you can check that out on my Facebook page, and I think it posts automatically to my Twitter, so there's that too. So real quick, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you. This is the second portion of my frame. My frame is actually, it was 2 pieces of plastic, so I have this neat little thing that says made in Taiwan. So what I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to, you have the silver Sharpie. When Kim's done with the silver Sharpie, I'm going to write because of my frame being like this, which I'm not normally drawn to gold colored things, or brass or anything like that. If anything, like copper I'm drawn to, but more than anything else I'm drawn to silver because I'm a female, and typically most women, gold is a masculine color. It's the masculine metal, and then what else is gold and something else I can't remember, but like your rose gold would be a more feminine gold, but I'm drawn to silver, so I tend to usually use black and silver for everything, especially witch related. I am drawn to copper though. I have a nice copper bracelet that I tend to wear when I need to, but because of my frame being gold, I'm going to and there's nothing really for me to put on it. It's kind of neat. This thing comes out and it sits like that on whatever surface, which is kind of cool. So I think that's really neat. Did you see that?
Oh no.
That's badass. I love it. And I love the fact that it's got what looks like two women in Grecian dress on it. Or Grecian Romanesque type dresses. I'm reminded of Venus. Was it Venus de Milo? Mm-hmm. That's what it reminds me of. So I basically am gonna leave that the way it is, but there's no place for me to write my little runes or anything on it. I could just leave it so that anybody can use it, which most of my tools are, because I do a lot of teaching, metaphysically wise. But I'm going to use this little thing here, and I'm going to wipe it down. You always want to make sure that these are $1 for 100 of these at Dollar General. You get them at Walmart, you can get them at CVS, whatever. I have a whole bunch of them because my mom, we test her sugar. But I use them for my screen, for my phone. I use them for my mom's glasses to test her sugar. I use them for my glasses. But they work really well for this. Because what it does is it'll actually take off adhesives. Any gluey type things that you don't want on there. And it'll kind of look you can see me. Hey, it's like a double vision. Oh. It'll dry kind of. Yeah, I know, right? I don't feel as high anymore.
I know, we need to paint some more.
Yeah, Kim's letting her stuff dry while she works on her. Sorry, I'm shaking the table. While she works on her frame.
It's really difficult.
Hey, but it looks gorgeous. Shush your mouth.
I know.
So you gotta.
What about my frame?
So you want to make sure that there's nothing on it, so that you have a nice, clean surface to write on. I'm wearing all kinds of jewelry today. Did you notice that?
I'm wearing none.
Oh, I took my bracelets off. What was I doing that I took my bracelets off? I was wearing bracelets and it was when you came over because I didn't want to get them ruined. My husband makes jewelry. I make hats, and I'm sure you guys all know this. But he made me this lovely rosary with my pentacle on it, and it's all hematite and glass beads. And I was like, these are the beads I want. And this is what I want for the thing, is this nice hematite heart he had, and I had this tiny little pentacle, so it came out nice. Wearing earrings by him. I was wearing 2 bracelets that he made too. Just briefly. I don't need it a whole lot.
Screw it.
Oh, can I show it?
Yeah, it's not done yet.
It's not done yet, but she just did all that detail work. Look at how gorgeous. She wrote all that stuff in the Theban Script. Theban Script, if you can get to where...
pain.
Yes, it's a pain. But if you can get to where you're writing it every day, it'll be like that. At one point, I was really good at it, and I could write it from memory. But I'm old now, so...
Yeah, she's an old lady.
Hey, shut your mouth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the middle, and they don't have to be pretty. I mean, if you're a perfectionist like Kim... I'm a Capricorn too, so I can't really say anything. I'm just as bad. If you're a perfectionist, and you want it to look nice, this is going on the inside, so I really don't care what it looks like. So I'm going to put Gabo, which is for gift, because I want to be gifted with the ability to divine. So that's part of the reason why I like that one. That's one of my favorite runes. That one? Gabo?
Yes.
Next, I'm going to do... Let's see. Fahu for divination. What do I want to do? Okay, what was I doing? Oh, so that's the 2 that I picked so far. I got all way off of subject here. Then I'm going to do Voice of the Goddess and Ansuns. So those are 3 of them that I picked. She licked your ear. She probably is. Then I'm going to do the one for enlightenment. Notice I'm kind of doing them in the cross fashion and then filling it in. I always do that when I do these, when I do runes. Then I'm going to do
Man, we're getting there.
Perth, which is the one that looks like a funky sea. And then...
Just a news flash real quick for you guys. If you're using a spray paint and glass, expect it to take like 10 coats.
Yeah, it takes a while, especially
Because
using glass.
I've done like, I think I'm at like 6 now.
You're at 5 or 6. And mine's almost completely covered, and I've done like 4.
Yeah. So plan on this, if you're using a spray paint, plan on it taking a while.
Honestly, like, it took me like 2 days to do that because I was just kind of doing it like half-ass.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I totally make my shit is just totally, I don't care.
Awesome.
If people can say dick on the internet, so can I. Sorry.
No, you're supposed to call it the D.
The D. Oh. So I was telling Dan when we were at that place, not to get sidetracked, but I was telling Dan when we were at that place where I got the frame at, I'm like, yeah, this is where I got those, I saw those, the tie tack and the cufflinks for you. And I was like, oh, they had D's on them. So I was like, throw some D's on that bitch. That was seriously when I saw them, because I bought them for him because he was getting ready to go to that convention. I was like, oh, he needs tie tack and stuff, even though he doesn't wear a tie, and he needs cufflinks, even though he can't wear cufflinks with his stupid shirt. I bought him, and they had a little D on him because his name's Dan. So I'm like, throw some D's on that bitch was my only thought. I'm like, really? Really? Really?
Really?
Really?
Really.
Okay, I'm done.
Yep.
And I love you. Go home, you're drunk. Yeah. I'm going to do Thagas. Hey, I remembered. It isn't Dagas. I always pronounce it as Dagas. And that is for prosperity and fulfillment, awakening and breakthrough. Othilla. Othilla. Will you stop doing weird things behind my head?
It wasn't doing anything.
Then I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to do Ingus. I know it's not on my list. It is for fertility, internal growth, gestation and power of female, sacred power of female sexuality, and it kind of looks, I call it an eternity symbol is what it reminds me of for some reason. It's this one up here in the...
Oh, the 2 X's.
Yeah, the one that it looks like 2 gaybos stacked on top of each other. It's kind of funny. Femurs are bad. And then I'm going to do Tawaz because of it being for male sexuality and warrior symbol. Will you stop? Also so that my husband can use my mirror as well. I doubt he will, but you never know. I try to, when I make my tools, I try to make them so that they're a little bit universal. Exactly. Good job.
Good job.
I try to make them so that they're universal so that anybody can use them. Most people are weird about that. They don't want to...
Don't touch my stuff.
Don't touch my stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I have so many people who come to me who want to learn or who... I have an entire meditation room basically for people to come and chill out. So... I don't care if you touch my shit. As long as it's not something that I wear every day. Like, I could see if it's a crystal. Like, I remember when I was little, I touched the little girl that sounds really bad. The little girl my mom used to babysit, their family's Hindu. And I touched her grandpa's necklace. It was like a sacred Krishna charm or something. And, like, he flipped shit on me. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like 12. I didn't know any better. At that point... I was just exploring my path, and I was always enamored of the Hindu religion and anything that was multi-theistic, anything that wasn't what I was brought up around.
Wouldn't that be polytheistic?
Multi-theistic, polytheistic. Yeah.
Tomato.
Tomato, exactly. Just as long as it's not a Cadillac converter. So what I'm going to do, once my black frame, black glass is done, I'll take this and put it behind and put that into the frame. And then I will put the glass on there, and then I'll put my little... This is kind of neat because it has little screwy things, so I had to unscrew this, the top one, so that I could get the glass out.
Here's a random hint. If you're doing something big and you want it to read the right way, if you can't, on the back of your frame, put a little arrow with up so you know which way it should go.
That makes sense.
The computer.
Oh.
Ow!
Oh, you doing it on...
I'm making it into a video. Is this dry yet? I think I've just got one more layer.
I have many.
And see that spot there-ish, there, right there. There's a couple little spots down in here that I need to repaint over. And this is at the point where you're going to hold it up to the light to go ahead and paint over it. So that way you get all the little holes and little air bubbles. Another thing is, if you can't get your air bubbles out, take a piece of black felt, put it underneath so that your paint side up. And this is another thing that an adult needs to do, not a kid. And take a, hold your glass down, take a X-Acto knife or a very sharp knife, or you can just draw around it in like a silver Sharpie and then cut it out. But you can cut out a piece of felt the size of your glass to put behind it. That way you have a little bit of buffer, especially if you're not putting anything in behind your glass in your frame. Like some people will put, like I said earlier, some people will put pictures. They might write their craft name.
I didn't even think about that.
You can just write it in regular writing. You don't have to do it in...
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Because my thing... I used to try to write my craft name out in Theban, and it is a pain in the wazoo to try to do it.
Mine too.
People laugh at me. This is my book of shadows. This is my BOS. It's literally a binder because I tried using regular like leather-bound books and the books that you would get, the online books you would get at like Borders, buying them online. I have journals and journals and journals in my office. I have actually an entire, like half of an entire bookshelf thing, one shelf that is just comp books and journals that I either started and never finished or filled up and just have never even cracked them open except to giggle over things. They're private journals or craft journals. What I did instead was I took and I got these page protectors and I just print stuff out or write stuff down. Some of it's printed, some of it is handwritten. These are the chakras, the holidays. I think I got one holiday done and I was like, fuck this shit, I'm going to start typing. So that's when I started typing. Then I have these magical records, which I pulled out of, I think it was Idiot's Guide? I think it was an Idiot's Guide. Idiot's Guide to Wicca and Witchcraft, and I just copied and printed them out. And then I have these things for when I do tarot readings. Put that back in there. And then I have pages for my personal journal. Just with my Kaylin Cerulean, which is my craft name. Blah, blah, blah. Just different. I handwrite my journals. Information-wise, a lot of people say it's better to handwrite them. I personally, I think that's a crock of crap. If they had a printing press back in the olden days, they would have used it.
Amen to that.
My opinion. Everyone's opinions are like assholes. Everyone's entitled to one. Everybody's
And
got
they
one.
all stink.
Yeah, and they all stink, so. Except for my opinions. They smell like roses. But I wrote in the beginning of this book, on the front page, and I was over at Kim's house the one day, and I had my book out, and I was like, what does that say? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, it says A Book of Shadows, ya dumbass. So, that's what Theban Script looks like. It's a pain in the butt. I think I did that back when I was actually writing it on a regular basis. It's been a while. And then in the back of my book...
Shut up, you heathen. Not you. I'm talking to myself, people. I'm not talking to her.
This piece here was from my old book. This new book has the little thing, so I can't slide anything into it, so I just wrote it on there. But this piece here was from my old binder. And then I have a Wheel of the Year that I printed off the internet. It kind of got cut off a little. But these are great for quick references. These are great things to put into your book. And then I had that made up. That was original in one of my original binder books. With the triple moon, etc., etc. I thought it was kind of cute, and I have just fallen in love with it. And because this is not, the holes aren't going to fill in. My little holes are not going to fill in. I'm going to get out the black felt.
I just forgot how to do an S in cursive.
It's a squiggly thing. It looks like that. Yep. It looks like a music note.
Yeah.
Hello? It's like a backwards treble clef. I think that's why I love treble clef so much.
I'm just going to ask the viewers here, who else thinks these little things here that hold your picture up, yeah, that's my frame, these things either look like a really big nose, a bow tie, or something else that I'm not going to mention?
Not a bow tie, a regular tie.
Okay, a regular tie.
A pee-pee?
Yeah. I think a pee-pee.
You look like a pee-pee. I mean,
oh my gosh, it looks like a face! No, I'm not even kidding you!
Oh my god! Show them! Show them! It's a face! That is hilarious!
I'm sorry. I was watching videos about Common Core. Now, anybody that doesn't know about Common Core, please battle this with your state education boards. There's no reason to have Common Core education. Why should we be taking something simple like 8 plus 6 and having kids turn it into 10 plus 4 to make it easier to understand? 8 plus 6 is 8 plus 6 is 8 plus 6.
Yeah,
it's not 10 plus 4. It's 8 plus 6. Why complicate things to make them easier? I'm just saying.
The only exception to that are students who can't learn the proper way. Like, I couldn't do high school algebra. Common high school algebra. But I could do trig, freaking geometry, calculus, all in college levels. I had to get my hair cutting scissors because those kitchen scissors just were not cutting it. Crazy. Why are you?
It keeps going up my face.
You know what? This is my friend Kim, guys. Don't you dare. I will spray you. I will go get the red spray paint out from under the sink and I will spray you.
I love red.
I love red, she says. This is who I spend most of my time with.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is kind of sad. We are kind of a weird bunch. So what I just did is I took a piece of felt. You can get these. They're pieces like this. Don't make a face at me. Stop, you're making me laugh. They're pieces like this. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, etc., etc. I buy the Walmart kind, but it doesn't work good for my hats, so I use them for different crafts. But this is a nice piece from, I believe Hobby Lobby or Packetans or something. You can get them pretty much anywhere. They're like 25 cents for a piece this big, or you can get the huge sheets of it for like $4. I have two huge sheets because I have to make a top hat. I'm gonna make two top hats.
How are you gonna do that?
I have to make a hat block. I'm gonna make I watched a couple videos on how to make a block. Scissors.
As long as it's going in a circle.
Kim I will say this much. Kim is very musically inclined as far as arts-wise. She's very, very musical. Crafty-wise, not so much. But she has someone for that. Oh, not me. I was talking about Mags.
Oh yeah, Mags is great.
That's like me. I'm a fair hand at being artistic. Like, I can draw. I suck, though, when I compare myself to my wifey. My wifey is, like, the best artist ever. Well, Maggie excluded.
Maggie and her are, like, the best artists I've ever met.
Like, we have, like, the best friends ever. And, like, Maggie is her sister of the heart, so...
20 years.
Yeah.
Almost. It'll be 20 years.
I've known my best friend, and her and I don't talk as much as I'd like to, but I've known my best friend since 1986. We were 3, so I've known her 28 years. I know this is before you were born. I actually met her. Dan was, let's see, it was September 18th. Dan was 3 months and 10 days old. You're making a mustache. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Mustache!
Are these leftovers?
Yeah, they're the crappy dollar store ones. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly they work. I'm just not sure. I think the thing's supposed to come off the back, but they don't sticky. Oh, these ones are better than the other ones I had. Whichever way you want. Oh, mine's so crooked. I lined it up wrong. You look like a leprechaun Hitler, dude. But when you smile, they come off.
I must have that special
I think my
skin.
nose is crooked.
I think your face is crooked.
My face is crooked. Oh, every time I smile, it keeps popping off. Oh, he's watching wrestling.
Not mine.
I'm still calling you Adolf from now on. What was his middle name?
Johan.
Daisy.
They're always called Johan.
Daisy's looking at me like, Mom, what the? Come here, Daisy. Come here. Come here. Come here, Daisy. No, laptop cord. Come here.
You do kind of look like Hitler.
Sit. Don't eat it. Oh, don't eat it. Don't eat it. She tried to eat it. She almost took my finger off. She's like, I want to eat it. So it works pretty good, like, because you can see the light behind us here. That's what you're going for. You're going for it to be fair, as see-through as possible.
As see-through as possible?
As opaque as possible. Opaque, right? You don't want to be able to see anything through it. Okay?
You want it to be dark.
You want it to be dark. A black mirror. If you can find black glass, it's expensive.
Okay.
So my stuff's basically done. I'm gonna go ahead and call it done. It's still tacky because I'm just going to be slapping this on the back of it without the daisy hair.
I'm going to do one more coat and then I'm going to do the same thing. Why? Because I like paint. Oh, that makes it really a lot darker when you put that there.
Yeah. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim real quick. I oftentimes, when I'm doing a project, even when I'm doing my hats, I'll sit there. I cheat. It's like, oh, I forgot to cut this before I started painting it. Or before I start pinning it, or whatever I do. So then you're going to take your frame, and hopefully this will fit behind with these nifty doodads. It should. It's made to hold a picture. Really? Come on. Get in there, you little minky bastard. I want a sign made for my office, or for me to hang on my front door that says, I actually want to get one for the garage too. It says, if you hear cussing, that means I'm working. when I'm making hats.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny, but, like, there tends to be a lot of bad words flying because I get kind of upset about things, and I realized why this isn't going in right.
Because you didn't read the directions.
I didn't read the direction. No, it's because I put it in upside down. So, I should have paid attention before I started unscrewing things.
That's what you get for not researching your screw.
Hey, went in. Okay, so I got that situated. Now, because I have these nifty little doodads, I'm going to re-screw this back in. No comment from the peanut gallery.
No. I wear my soul.
Always remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Unless you're dyslexic.
There is my awesome scrying mirror. Now I can divine the future with my nifty, spiffy scrying mirror. I absolutely.
And ladies, this will be the only mirror that doesn't judge you.
Exactly. It doesn't. Anybody who remembers the witch from Snow White.
Thank you. That's why I wanted a big oval frame. Like
I know, right?
Like
That's why I was kind of excited about this one because it kind of reminded me of Once Upon a Time. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? That was a black glass scrying mirror. I don't know if Disney realizes this, but their witches are pretty handy. And what I do is I just hit it with the alcohol wipe again, and I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll buff it out with a paper towel. And quick tip, alcohol dries really fast, dries a lot better than Windex or anything like that. You will get streaks with alcohol wipes, but all you have to do is cover it. Just hit it real quick with a paper towel, and you've got a nice surface to look back into. Now, when you scry, what you want is to not in a bright room, obviously, for obvious reasons. The only time you would want it to be a bright room would be if you were scrying with smoke, or if you were scrying with water, I believe is another one that people use brighter rooms for. I like to use a not dark room, but a dark end room. Not, you don't want a bunch of sunlight, but you don't want it to be like nighttime when you're scrying.
Like dusk.
Yeah, you want it like a dusk or dawn type of light in the room. By candlelight is also good. Some people scry with fire, some people scry with water, some people scry with smoke. I like to scry with mirrors. And the reasoning for this is mirrors, when you have a glass mirror, obviously this one would not be a good example. Are you staring at me? This would be a good example. When you scry with a mirror, technically, right here, you've got earth, because glass is sand.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got earth, you've got fire, because it has to be heated to, like, god-awful temperatures to become glass. You've got water, because sand usually is from a water-based area. And you've got air, because as it cools, the air is touching it. So you literally have all elements right there in your scrying mirror. That's one of the reasons why I like it, because I'm more of an all-element type person, not strictly one element or another. I do recommend if you're doing... The scrying mirror is the easiest divination tool to learn. And I do recommend you do it under supervision or with somebody who already knows how. And don't trust people. In all honesty, that's how we create fluff bunnies. It's how we create fluff bunnies, by just trusting anyone who says, oh yeah, I'm Wiccan and I've been Wiccan for 30 years, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people don't realize what that means. They do it for the shock value, etc. And
it's like a just like a fad. Like they do it for the wow factor.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm Wiccan. And people are like, what? I'm very hesitant to say I'm Wiccan. I'm very hesitant to say I'm pagan. I just tell people I'm spiritual for the most part. Unless they see this, or they see my ring, or they notice whatever I have on me that says blatantly, hey, look, I'm a witch. People tend to especially in our town. We live in a very small town.
But the funny thing about our small town is you couldn't put us all in a gym and throw a rock and not hit someone.
Yeah, if you had us at the fall festival, you could throw a rock and hit somebody who's Wiccan. Mm-hmm. There's actually quite a few, but the unfortunate problem is most people are afraid to come out of the room closet, and
because there's a lot of churches in there.
There's what? Violet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 within a half-mile radius. Or a mile radius.
1, 2, 3.
You have to count your neighbor.
4, 5. That's right. Yeah. It's just...
Yeah. And we live right in the middle of them.
Yeah, and we live dead center. There's 5 churches around us. Literally, when I go outside in the afternoon at like 5, if you go outside, you can hear the church bells from the Catholic Church and the Presbyterian. And then there's, a First Baptist. There's, I think, one more church out that way. There's 2 or 3 that way. There's a couple that way. Nothing against church people. A lot of my good friends here in town are church people, and they're actually very, very accepting of my choice, and they respect that, and they like to learn about what they're the exception, not the rule, which is kind of nice. Generally, as a rule, most people are not very accepting. So, like when I went into the nursing home to see my mom today, and I said, yeah, I have to go get black paint. Are you dancing? I have to go get black paint today because I can't find my black paint. We're making scrying mirrors. You're making what? Scrying mirrors? It's just a black mirror. And I just, glazed over the conversation, changed the subject real quick because, a lot of people don't realize what things are. They don't realize the tools. They think, I have Newton. What is it? I have Newt. Toe of frog, spit in the cauldron, whatever.
Double toil and trouble.
Yeah.
Fire burning cauldron bubble.
Exactly, which cracked me up when it was in Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movie. I was like, yes! So, needless to say, this is a great little craft idea.
Oh, yeah.
You might need scissors, you might need felt, just as an afterthought. But like I said, this is a great thing. You can buy a couple frames. You can buy small frames, little bitty frames. They have wallet-size frames. They actually have the ones that close at Dollar Tree. I was actually looking at those. They have the little tiny ones that close. They're gold or. As I was saying, they also have the table place settings for weddings, where it says, you are at table blah, and it has, a picture. So you actually are getting 2 things. So you could actually put, a small prayer in one, and then black out the other glass. So there's a bunch of different options you can do. I am a mirror freak. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, within 20 feet of me right now, I have 4 mirrors in my house. In my living room alone. I have 2 that are on my little pass-through. I have 1 there and 1 behind me right here. In my office, there's 1. Well, technically 3 because it's a trifold vanity. My bathroom has 4 mirrors. Even though I only have the one on the wall and the one here, I have little handheld mirrors. I have a handheld mirror next to my bed. It's not most people would think that that's more of a, which actually technically there's 5.
Yeah.
Because that's a mirror right there. Most people would think it's a superficial narcissistic thing. With me, it's 6. That giant mirror that Dan bought. I'm one of those people that I like having mirrors in the house. It makes rooms look bigger. I mean, even though it's a blackened mirror, you still do get, you can see the reflection of my computer. You can see both of us there. It does reflect. Which is why I say you're going to want a darkened room, because you don't want something that's a high gloss reflection like that. And when you use this, you're going to basically put yourself into a meditative trance and just stare into the mirror. And I could literally stare into a scrying mirror for hours and hours and hours. Sometimes you'll see something, sometimes you won't. It just depends on what you're meant to see. And a lot of people think that when they, like when you have a dream, you're like, oh my God, what does this mean? And it's like, oh my God, I dreamt that I had a baby. Well, a dream that you're going to have a baby actually means that somebody close to you is going to have a baby. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a baby. So it's kind of like that. So I suggest getting a dream book, because scrying is a lot like dreams. Anything that could be discerned as a vision, invest in a nice dream book, which I don't have any of mine out here. I have like 3 dream books.
I have one.
Yeah, they're great, because even if you take a nap, sometimes you'll get sent a little vision because you haven't actually entered REM sleep where you actually dream. You'll get a vision, and people will be like, I only slept for 20 minutes, but I had a dream. And it's like, no, you had a vision, and a lot of people don't realize that. Don't take everything that you see during scrying as being whole truth, because all it is it's showing you a possible outcome. And they say that fire scrying is one of the least reliable sources, because you can't control it, you can't manipulate it. Smoke can be manipulated, like if you're using sage or some kind of incense and you're scrying that way, you can manipulate smoke. It can be, you could move your hand and it will move. Fire will as well, but fire is also not as you're not able to control it and capture it. Fire cannot be contained. It's more of a wild thing. Water can be contained, obviously. Put it in a container. Scrying mirrors are probably one of the safer ones, because I've actually, you can drown in a teaspoon of water. Are you sleeping? You're just waiting for your shit to dry, aren't you? You can drown in a teaspoon of water. It's why I don't particularly care for using water. I don't particularly care for using fire as scrying, because of its uncontrollable nature. And if you fall asleep while scrying, which I have done in the past while scrying with fire, which is not a good idea, you could set your house on fire. So don't scry if you're tired. If you're scrying with fire, use a mirror. If you're tired, use a mirror, because if worst comes to worst, you fall asleep and and you wind up with like a big bruise on your face. It's better than losing all your possessions. Scrying with smoke is kind of fun too. Have you ever done that? Mm-hmm. I used to do it all the time. I liked it. I've been doing that since I was little. My mom always burned incense and stuff, which is funny, because you would never think. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off of this, and hopefully my computer won't have another stroke TIA seizure thing. I know, right? So like the page, right there, yeah, right there. Click that like button, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. And I'm
going to be launching a channel, so I'll put the information on her video when I do. Because even though I was goofing around tonight, I do know a lot of stuff. You can only see half my face. I feel really mysterious. But I am going to be starting a page eventually.
We should do one together.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would be epic.
We might do one together, so hold that.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know. Yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let us know
both Capricorns, we're both always right, so.
It'd be funny as shit, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That would be great.
But definitely check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Kaylin Cerulean. Also on Twitter and Instagram, I am Kaylin Cerulean. What else? Oh, my blog, which I haven't even typed, but I actually have been planning one for the past 3 days, and it's called First Comes Love, Then Comes Marriage. Where the fuck is my baby carriage? I've been planning it for a while now, and I'm like plotting what I'm gonna say in my blog. So be sure to check all that stuff out, and I'll put that in the description. And this might take me a couple days to actually upload, so because I'm at an hour 27 minutes, and I think the other video before this was 20-something minutes, so we're gonna have to obviously cut this shit up. But have a good night, everyone, and be sure to do all that stuff that I just said, because I don't remember now. Okay. Have fun. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, it stopped. Stop it!